No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman and today, my friends, we have a first on the show because many of my Brazilian subscribers and viewers have been saying to me, look, please, can you review some Brazilian gins because we've got some great ones. And I keep saying yes, and I always mean to get round to it, but I never do. However, my friends, I have quite literally rectified that problem today because we have a Brazilian gin on the show and it goes by the quite wonderful name of McQueen and the Violet Fog. And if that name alone does not inspire or engender a bit of curiosity in you, I don't know what will, because I always like to sort of find the gins that are a little bit sort of mysterious and kooky, and a lot of people have been recommending this one. So my friends, I say we funny about no longer and let's get stuck right in, find out what they say about it on the website, shall we? A single copper pot still in the hills of, oh god, I'm not very good at these foreign pronunciations, Jundiai, I think it says, in Brazil. 21 different botanicals, including 6 seldom found in gin. Basil, rosemary, fennel seed, calamansi, star of anise, and I can't pronounce this one, acai or something, I don't know, but I read up about it and apparently it's some sort of palm tree. Each batch is distilled and bottled by hand. We don't make much, but what we do make is damn good. So then, this seems like a little bit of an intriguing one to me. A few sort of weird and wonderful flavours in there. Like that, to be honest, I have heard of gins with basil and rosemary and fennel seed, to be honest. Although, but the next ones, like the calamansi, star of anise, and the acai or acia, whatever you call that palm tree thing, haven't heard of those. And to be honest, I've never ever tasted them. So this is a real mystery to me. I know very little about it, very little about a lot of the flavours, so I say we change that, get the top off, have a sniff, and have a good old taste. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually a cork or not in that. I think it is, yeah. We're going to give it a go anyway. So this will be the first ever Brazilian cork test.
The Brazilian cork test.
So I don't think it's going to have a squeak because it feels quite loose. No squeak. Go for the full pull. Here we go. Oh, Jesus. It was not a particularly great cork test. It was more like a sort of a sparrow sort of breaking wind. But never mind, don't worry, as we always say, it's just a bit of fun. So then, let's get it in the old glass, shall we? Oh yes, is it going to be a clean pour? Oh, a nice little drop at the end. These ones that have the sort of the wider bit at the top, these bottles, they tend to be a cleaner pour, just for your information. But anyway, let's get the old nose in there and see what it's all about sniff-wise, shall we? So, oh, blimey. It's kind of a sort of a thick, one of those sort of smells that's almost you could put a knife in there and cut it. It reminds me a little bit in the kind of the way of the McLaren, not the McLaren, what I'm talking about, the Melbourne Gin Company did. A very thick sort of concentrated, sort of almost you could scoop it out with your hands sort of smell. But to be honest with you, to try and pin it down is quite difficult, really unusual sort of kind of fruity, but a sort of a thick, viscousy, almost woodiness through it as well. And it's kind of, it's nice though, I really like it. So let's not funny around, let's get the old tonic. I've got a new bottle on the go, especially for this video, and see what it tastes like. Now, I usually forget, as you know, but I will try and remember to try it and eat later. But in the meantime, get the bloody tonic in there. And my friends, I say to you, the first ever Brazilian gin on the show. What's Brazilian for cheers? What do they say in Brazil? Hang on. Hey Siri, what's Brazilian for cheers?
In Brazilian Portuguese, cheers is saúde.
Saúde? Saúde, really? I've heard of salute, but not saúde. We'll say it anyway, we'll go with it. I'm sure people correct me if I'm wrong. So the first ever Brazilian gin, I say saúde. Was that right? I think so. Okay, here we go. Wow. Okay. It always amazes me when we try gins from sort of, or when I try gins from areas of the world where I've not tried them before. The first taste is kind of a little bit like, oh, that's different. I'm not sure if it's like, and then all of a sudden it sort of grabs me and takes me another way. Before I've even sort of made my decision, it sort of yanks me off to another dimension. And this one is no exception because I first tasted it, first went in the mouth. It was kind of just like, almost not a great deal of flavour. It was almost just kind of fizz and alcohol strength, but that was it. But then, true to form, it kind of just sort of, the flavours went from almost sort of nothing to like a spiral that just sort of went, just burst through the top of my mouth. It's kind of a sort of a a real sort of herby one, this one. Very sort of herbaceous, you're getting the basil in there, that's it. The basil is kind of the overriding flavour, which usually I'm not a fan of basil in gins. What was that one, Gin Mar or Gin Mare or Gin Mari, whatever you call it? That had a lot of basil in. I wasn't a huge fan of that one, to be honest. However, this one kind of, it's weird, isn't it? A gin can sort of take a flavour that you don't usually like, but if used in the correct way, it can kind of spin you around towards it. Much like old Steve the bartender's gin up there, which uses grapefruit, which is not one of my biggest sort of favourites in gin, but woven in delicately and sort of balanced in with other flavours, it can really, really work. And I think they've done it here with the old basil as well. And it's actually, like a few gins we've done recently, it's actually a little bit weaker on the old ABV. It is, I believe, 40%. And as I've said before, and you can, some of them, you can taste the difference. You can't taste the difference, sorry. Some of them, a few of them I've tried recently were a little bit weaker, but they don't taste that much weaker. Still got that little bit of a zing. However, I would say this one does taste a little bit on the weaker side. I'm not getting so much of that sort of sting of the alcohol that you get in sort of most gins, particularly the sort of higher ABV ones. But as I said before, sometimes you don't want to, you know, a blow your head off gin super strong. You might have responsibilities. You might be looking after children. You might be driving a car. You might be doing both those things at the same time. I mean, to be honest, thinking about it, you probably shouldn't, in those situations, you probably shouldn't be drinking any alcohol, but I think you know what I mean. So I suppose the question is it going to be one of my favourite gins? Well, to be honest, I don't think it's going to be right up there with the number 3s and the Brokers and these ones that have blown me away recently. However, it's always nice to try something different. This is the beauty of gin, you know, you can try different stuff and you might be sort of like, not sure about that, but I think this is going to be one of those gins that when you sort of try it first, you're like, yeah, a bit different, not sure if I like it. But I think once you sort of give yourself a chance to acclimatise to it and settle in, I reckon it could really get under your skin and kind of open up a whole new sort of area of ginness for you. Much like that Kinobi Japanese gin I tried the other day. It's like drinking gin, but drinking gin in a totally different way. And even at this point in my, I was going to say gin career, my gin sort of knowledge, no, I don't know anything about it. My gin journey, there we go. At this point in my gin journey, I'm still finding these new, it's like I'm opening doors to rooms I didn't know exist in a house that I've lived in for ages. However, my friends, with that Kinobi gin, that was, as I say, a new way of drinking gin, a new way of experiencing it. However, you paid quite literally through the nose for it because it was bloody expensive. So this has I've travelled a long, long way to get on this show, all the way from Brazil. There's going to be import charges and costs and everything, and usually by the time it lands on the shores here in the UK and finds its way to the studio here with old Freeman, it usually gets pretty expensive. However, my friends, I have good news because this little chap cost me a very meagre 26 English pounds, which is $33, 29 euros, and because it's from Brazil, it is 189 Brazilian reals and 4 centavos. And for some reason, I've never heard the word centavo before, and it makes me very happy. Centavo! And that, my friends, that, as you well know, is well under my top bracket of £30. It's fact, it's nowhere near it. It couldn't even reach it. It's barely visible on the horizon of my top bracket. So, if you are looking for something that's a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary, you've tried a lot of gins, you're thinking, I've got a bit bored of this stuff. Well, not bored, but ready for the next step. I think the old McQueen and the Violet Fog could be right up your street, my friends. And I say to the people at the Violet Fog Distillery, whatever it's called, the Violet Fog Distillery, keep up the good work, my friends. So guys, my first ever Brazilian gin on the show. I can't wait to try some more. I'm looking forward to having this one nestling quite proudly on my shelf. And as always, guys, if you've enjoyed this video or found it useful, informative, or if it's changed your life in an immeasurable way, then please don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel, press the little like button and the bell icon so you get the notification when my new videos come out. And if you want to support the show, head over to the Patreon page or click the old join button below the video. But until next time, guys, you know the drill. Take care, stay safe. Thank you to all my patrons and members, and keep drinking the gin.